Hey guys, welcome back, everybody. All right. Hi, the character. Great to see you tonight. Thanks for being here, babe. All right, we are going to take a peek at the topic of love. After this video, I will also go over and do a Cancerian video because it's Tuesday and I try to put out Cancer videos on this channel on Tuesdays and Saturdays. All of the other zodiacs are all done over on Kate's Regretless Life, if you ever wonder. And by the way, on both of my channels, I have playlists for every style of video that I do. So if you're ever looking for uploads, just know you can check out the playlist tab, and that's probably going to be your most helpful and most expedient way to see what I've uploaded recently, because I've just recently discovered that a lot of people don't see my uploads anymore. And so in an effort to try to help you guys locate stuff instead of you randomly having to check my channel, I was like, oh, I should tell you about playlists. So what do we have for the topic of love? We start with an Ace of Pentacles and go to a Queen of Wands. Brand new beginnings. I mean, we've got the compass in the sky. We have this lovely Queen of Wands, and she's always our sexiest, most self-assured queen. And she is, I would say, either she could be literally about to walk through like a gateway, a portal, something that is going to change her life forever. This could be she walks into a business, or she walks into a location, or she, randomly traveling, stops at a particular gas station and something big happens to her there that could change the rest of her life. Sometimes chance meetings are that changeable, and it forever alters our course of life. There is a moment where her compass is about to be shifted, but she's brave enough to be like, oh yeah, that's because of this experience I had. It totally altered my path. We have a Seven of Pentacles. We have a Five of Wands. I almost think she has wanted something like this. Whatever is coming up for her, whatever this changes, and it could be meeting somebody that is absolutely stellar. You notice that we have the clock behind him. It's almost like she's waited a really long time. She's always been brave enough to take this leap should she see the thing that feels right to her. But she's kind of wondered, when is this ever going to happen? We have a lot of okay, so I put up soundproofing and I can still hear noise through my walls. Love where I live, but not super thrilled about some of the sounds in my little studio space. But we have this really large sun behind her, and a decidedly, Western vibe, but it could be that she lives in a very sun-drenched area, or that she feels very connected to the sun, like she's, someone of the light. She may love being out in the sunlight. She may be somebody who always looks for the positive. She looks for clarity, pretty honest with herself. But it feels like she had at least been wondering, how long is this going to take before a momentous thing occurs in my life? Because she seems to have been willing for a very long time. Hi, everybody. So great to see you tonight of the Night Owls. We got a Ten of Cups. That Ten of Cups here is joy. It's happiness. She's been ready to be an amazing partner to somebody, and maybe to start a family, or maybe to just find, that family life that feels really satisfying. She's been ready for that because she has a lot to offer. She has a lot to give. She's been ready for a long time, and kind of started to wonder, when does this happen for me? Let me ask this. We saw at the very beginning, the change is coming, right? But in truth, she hasn't walked up to this yet, right? We see this from a perspective where we're still stepped way back, looking into the future. So I'm thinking that this is what's on the horizon. Can I get an idea on either when this is coming, or because this all feels like it's the next chapter. We have a Queen of Cups. She could be going to see somebody that she adores. This could be like, oh, I got to go see my mom, got to go see my sis, got to go see my best friend, got to go see somebody. Somebody has, reached out to me. I'm going to go sit down at a cafe. I'm going to go talk to them. Maybe she meets somebody at a restaurant for, cup of tea, cup of coffee. And that's where her life changes. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe this person brings along their cousin who's in town, and it's like, oh, I wanted you to meet my best friend. It could be, sometimes things like that occur also that are, okay, we have a magician. Maybe somebody has said, I want to meet your friend. Can you set up a tea date so I could happen to fumble my way in because I'd really like to meet her. Look, magicians, magish, right? They make stuff happen. And it looks like he is very, very, very ready to like create, right? He's got an idea of what he wants. He's got an idea of what he'd be willing to put in some effort to make happen. Now, as always, these stories could always be same sex couples, right? Or reverse gender roles. It doesn't matter. I never read for genders. It just says this is a story. It feels more like a single person's story, right? It feels like somebody who's about to meet somebody quite wonderful. I don't think she's already with this person. And I don't think this is somebody she's already known. I feel because of that Ace of Pentacles, it has to be brand new because that's how we read the Ace of Pentacles. And with the Seven of Pentacles, the wondering, where is my other half? If I'm so ready to be a partner and a good partner at that, how come I don't meet my other half? And I do want to ask this, universe, is there any reason why it hadn't happened for her sooner? Like, sometimes the universe works in mysterious ways. Sometimes we are the ones who need a little bit more free time first. Sometimes we are the ones that are, actually completing some other things in our life. Temperance and the Queen of Wands, again, this time sideways. Yes, the universe says although she's an amazing Queen of Wands, she had to be ready for long-term partnership. And there was something about a transformation, something about her finding her inner peace, perhaps. You know how I said she's backed by, the sun again and again in these cards, even when she's, in deep thought about things and analyzing things with the Five of Wands. Just that full sun being right there behind her really came to my eyes. And here she is, kind of like with these angel wings, this creature of the divine. And I'm wondering if she either had to transform so she knows that about herself. A Queen of Wands isn't like born a Queen of Wands. She becomes one because of the steps she goes through. Like none of us are just emperors and empresses. We have to, learn about ourselves. We have to go through all these experiences. We have to go through every phase of being all those pages and all those knights and all those kings and queens. And then we get to the emperor, empress. It's a journey. So it doesn't take anything away from her to say the universe is saying, well, she was the one who wasn't ready for her partnership. She is now. That's what she's saying. My gosh, I'm so ready. Where is my partner? How come I'm ready for a 10 of cups, but I don't see him? And the universe gently is saying, darling, you're only just now ready. Before, you might not have had this level of confidence to be able to say that about yourself. Maybe she needed to be able to say, oh, I'm definitely a great partner. I am ready for, my alpha match. I am so ready. If she couldn't have said those words about herself and really believed them before, maybe that's why the universe is like, no, she can't meet her true person yet because it won't go well. She won't call in the right person because she won't believe that, even if she met this amazing magician before she had this level of self-confidence, she might have avoided them, run from them even. So she had to be the version of her that she is today in order to be able to match with this person. Which, I think that that's maybe like a really, really relatable message, just because none of us are the person today that we were yesterday, or, or maybe it's, more significant than that. We go through eras of transformation in life, but I really love seeing this is not a situation where even if she had met him sooner, it wouldn't have been the right time. So she's a different version of herself. Can we just look at him for a moment and ask who he is? I do want this deck. All right, so tell me, who is he? This magician. He could be a Virgo or a Gemini. Strength card in the reverse, magician in the reverse. He didn't used to be the magician either. At one point in time, he'd lie to himself, pretend he was brave and strong, and in fact, he was still dealing with confidence issues or, feeling empowered. So that makes perfect sense, because all characters have to develop. Nine of Swords. He is somebody who's known plenty of grief in his life. He is somebody, and he may have, had his own fears that, like, what if I let somebody down? What if they don't want to stay with me? What if, everything doesn't work out? Chrissy, have a safe flight, babe. Oh, yes. Have a great time. I'm so happy for you. And yes, we'll look forward to seeing you, Chrissy. You said you're going to Thailand, right? Um, have a wonderful time. And if we catch you while you're there, that'll be ever more delightful. If not, then we'll see you in January. We get the Chariot upright, Knight of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. All of this looks like a character who is like he had to go through his stuff too, right? He had self-worth stuff, and maybe for a while he also was just like running wild, and he had to get his grounding, and he had to, sometimes we go from stuck to unstuck, but then we're a bit too wild, and somewhere in between is where we find, because it's like two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm stuck, I can't move forward. I'm a wild buck. You can't even make him put his shirt back on. He's ripping up the parties. He's, just going wild. And then somewhere in between is where we find actual confidence. So between ego and fear is maybe the sweet spot in the middle, where it's like, look, I know who I am. I have a decent opinion of me, not overly bloated, but not afraid of who and what I am either. And so I just feel like that's, sorry guys, I'm drenched from being outside. But I feel like somewhere in between is who he had to become. He had to get really stable. No more fears, no more like fretting too much about who and what he is, or, I would say, and I'll just speak from personal experience, now that I'm 45, I look at, like who I was in my 20s and 30s, and there is definitely a big difference. And it doesn't mean that I don't still have plenty to work on, but I will say there's a greater comfort zone, not because you think you're more awesome, but because you're like, I'm just like everybody else. We're all a mixture of, we're doing our best, and sometimes we get it wrong, and we're maybe a little more forgiving with ourselves, and maybe we're a little bit more like, it's easier to say sorry when we fumble, because we have a little less ego, because it's like, I've messed up so many times that I've had to say sorry so much that I'm really good at it now. And it just feels like we take life a little less intense, especially with, expectations of perfection. The older we get, the more we realize maybe we're already, about as perfect as we're going to get, which means we're perfectly imperfect. And embracing that kind of seems like the way I would describe what's going on with maybe both of these characters. Like they both feel pretty okay about themselves, not like I'm the best thing that ever walked the earth. Just like, you know what? I'm good enough to be loved, and I have a lot to give to somebody. It feels pretty down to earth. Knight of Cups. He's definitely ready to offer some kind of, I'll just say, I don't know how he's showing up in this exactly, other than it does feel like he shows up in a weird vehicle or in a weird way. And I feel like he's crashing the party to meet this Queen of Wands. Now, I don't know, did he ask, can I come see her while she's having some coffee date with a friend or family member? Let me ask, what's your approach to her? Because it definitely feels like, Two of Cups in the reverse. His approach is not with the intention of like, oh my God, it's love at first sight. Probably because he's more down to earth too. You never know. You can see somebody and you can say, that person, they stand out to me. I would love to, do something very chivalrous, very gracious, very kind. Sometimes we just have nice dialogue with somebody, and it's like, I have no idea why. I just felt like I could talk to them a little bit, even though they're a perfect stranger. But they just seemed cool. They just seem like somebody I could, like I would want to approach. But he's not like, oh my God, it's love at first sight. Must get to her. So I don't think this is him requesting, can I meet her? With the Two of Swords sideways, this has to be, because I have this image burned in my head now that they're like, she's going to meet a friend, and it's just whatever, an average, Wednesday or something. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll meet you for a cup of coffee, whatever, from 3 to 4. And it could just be she sees him from across the room and vice versa. It's two people that aren't exactly blocked. It's two people that aren't exactly, instantly making some huge move toward each other either, though. But it's like, I see you, you see me. But I'm here for another reason. So I kind of feel like this is a very serendipitous meeting. This feels like a love story that pops up out of nowhere. Her going out, her living her life. Maybe she wants to chit chat with a friend, though, about things like life and love. But it's so crazy because she could literally be saying, you know what, I'm so ready for partnership. And that's literally the day that she meets this person. And it's not because she's like, I'm so ready, so anybody will do. It's not that at all. It's when we are ready for things, sometimes that's where the stuff that was right under our nose becomes very available. Sometimes we give off a certain aura. She shines really, really bright. There is something about her. Maybe she's wearing an awesome hat. Maybe there's some, clothing outfit that she looks particularly sharp in, and she's just looking fresh. She's just looking really great. And she just stands out. She certainly stands out to him. He kind of steps in from the shadows. You notice how only half of his face is in the light. So I'm guessing that it's one of those where he sees her first and then steps into her line of vision on purpose. But I do think this is just the serendipitous way that sometimes two people can meet each other, because honestly, they're both ready to meet somebody. They're both mature enough. They're both in a place, and they're both willing to give each other some kind of, communication, some kind of eye contact. We have the Star. She could be looking like a movie star. Literally, she could be looking really spectacular. I don't know if she looks particularly great in green or earth tones. She's in like a russet brown with some really cool, like, gold embossing or embroidery on it, like white shirt, has some ruffles. In both cases, this white shirt kind of low cut. She may have, nice décolleté. She just comes across like she has her own panache, her own sense of style too. There's something about her that could be why she comes across possibly as like a star. Everybody looks smashingly good when they wear something that is unique to their personality type. When you dress for who you are instead of what's trendy, I always think that's when you look your best. It doesn't matter what a current style is. In fact, many styles look terrible. Like I'm 6 feet tall. Okay. So I definitely cannot pull off many of the like trending styles, no matter what trend it is. When you are 6 feet tall, you look a lot bigger in stuff. And so you see a lot more. So a cute little ruffled this or that would look like I stole the wardrobe off of, a child and attempted to wear it. There are just certain things that, no, short shorts on a 6 foot tall person, way too short. Look, you do you, boo. But for me, I don't have the legs for it. So my point is, when you kind of dress for what you are, who you are, what you like, an expression of who you are, I always think that's what makes somebody like really shine with their own like it factor. Don't go with a trend, go with your own trend of who you express yourself to be. And I think that's when you look your best. This seems to be what she does to a certain extent, or there's a glow about her, or there's just something. Like green top, red skirt, and it works, right? It stands out, it pops. It's just cool to see somebody who's got her own style. And a Queen of Wands always has her own style. She's not somebody who just, it's not even that you have to be fashion forward. It's just she would wear everything differently. I'm hearing that song, You Wear It Well. It's Rod Stewart, but I ain't forgetting that you were once mine, but I blew it without even trying. But you wear it well. It's funny because none of the rest of that necessarily clicks unless there are exes out there that are like, man, I'll always miss her. She had something about her. It feels like really, I don't know. She has a really like lovely, really powerful energy to her. We have a 5 of Wands again. Deep thinking also. I feel like you can see the intellect in her eyes. You can see the way she chews on things, the way she, considers things, the way she takes everyone into consideration. And she may be very good at making people really feel seen also. A lot of people might notice her, but she may give everyone a certain amount of like, attention and make everyone feel like like they're walking on the red carpet too, basically. There's something to be said for making each person feel like they are someone. So that could be a really lovely energy um, about her also. Just the essence of who she is. Ace of Cups. There is more than one person who probably would love to be with this Queen of Wands, which is ironic only because she's over here at the beginning of the story saying, man, I'm so ready to be with a partner. And how come I haven't found my person? Or how come I'm not in a connection? In this storyline, it is simply because she maybe is just now like really that comfortable and confident in herself. She's exuding that kind of energy. She's got a lot of love for herself. So now it overflows to others. Think of like the difference in body language when we're feeling good about ourselves versus when we're not. When we're not, our cup is, maybe only got a few drops in it. So we don't have enough to share with other people. We don't maybe make eye contact with other people because we're busy just trying to work on our own, what's going on up here in our melon, right? But once our heart is full and we feel content in ourselves, then it's like we're less stressed. And so now we have a lot more like connection and light and laughter, and everything feels better, and we can share more energy with other people. And that's maybe when we attract other people in. So I would just say that's probably the real reason this is working. Do we have anything else about him right now? Dragon Fortnite, so nice to see you, sweetie. We got a Four of Cups. We got the Empress. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Four of Pentacles. And I'm hearing that song. I've been waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. I've been waiting for a girl like you. Is that Glenn Fry? It's 80s track. Somebody with kind of like a more strained voice. It's probably like, I don't know who it is. I can only hear the song really, really well, but I can't get the person's name. With the Four of Cups and the Empress, he was maybe feeling kind of bummed. Like, are there any Empresses out there? Are there any people out there that, am I ever going to meet the one that I'm going to marry? Page of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, it kind of feels like he was about in the same energy. When am I going to meet somebody? But same thing, we already saw he had to get his confidence level up also. So the fact that they're both in that vibe now, I mean, all I can say is hallelujah. And also, thank goodness they're both still single. They probably tried relationships, didn't have it work out. For a while, he might have said, look, I don't even want to date anybody unless I see some kind of, rapport, some kind of connection. I don't want an illusion of an Empress. I want to really meet a real Empress. So he may be not guarded exactly, but he doesn't overgive or overdo. I don't think he wants to be like bamboozled into, any pretty face must automatically be like the love of his life. We see him wanting to manifest, but we see him cautiously manifesting because I think he doesn't want to give a ton of time or energy or even like put hopes up too high that somebody who's lovely and attractive is also the right person for him, because it doesn't really work that way. People that are lovely and attractive may still be dead wrong for us in a million different ways. And it doesn't mean that they're not great people. It doesn't mean that we're not great people. Sometimes two great people suck together, and it's just because they're not the right people. I liken that to dance partners. If you've ever tried like Argentine tango or any tango, it's a very close dance, right? And it's so crazy because you would think that somebody who's your perfect type must be the perfect dance partner. Oh gosh, no. In my experience, some of the best dance partners I ever had, as a 6 foot tall person, by the time you're in heels, you're 6'3". Some of the best dance partners I ever had were literally like, no, actually closer to about here. Like we were snuggly, okay, to put it mildly. And they were terrific and the best leads I ever danced with. And just, and there were oftentimes taller people or people my height or even taller. You just knock knees with them nonstop. So sometimes what you assume should be perfect doesn't really click. They're great dancers with other people, but you never know what that perfect height ratio might end up being for the perfect dance partner. Kind of same thing with personality types. Two fabulous people can be dead wrong for each other. and that doesn't detract from them as individuals. So he's learned that. And I think that's why he approaches wisely and says, no, I'm not going to say she's my two of cups, she's my everything. I'm not going to say it's love at first sight. I'm going to say I would very much like to talk to her or buy her another whatever cup of tea, cup of coffee. That's how this feels. It's just a nice approach, and it's a storyline that we don't see a whole lot of. But it reminds us as the audience that, life occurs everywhere, unexpected meetings, unexpected people that we bump into. If you talk to like 50 people, how'd you meet your significant other, you will hear every kind of story under the sun. I mean, yes, I know a lot of people meet because friends put them together, or it's, oh, we knew each other, we were neighbors. And then there's those other ones where it's like, oh, well, I missed a flight, and then shared a taxi with a stranger, and then the taxi driver was nuts, and then they kind of like rescued me, and then their cousin came to give us a drive, and it was their cousin that I ended up marrying. And it's like, okay, that was a weird set of events. It just reminds us that life is serendipitous, and it takes us in different directions sometimes, and all those things sometimes have to play out. But this is just a nice reminder that kind of anything can happen. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave this one here. So nice to see you. Monkey Experiment, lovely to have you here. Brian Van Winkle, thank you. That was Foreigner. I don't know why. Foreigner is always the band that I least likely can place the voice for. I have no idea why, but I always blank out. Chrissy, thank you, sweetheart. Take some wonderful pictures and eat some wonderful food and have just the best time ever, sweetie. I will be cheering you on as you enjoy your trip. Hi, St. Bridget. Melissa Estes. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for that. Amanda S. Are you a night owl? Thank you for being here. Rajiv Sharma, thank you for popping by. Dragon Fortnite again. Great to see you tonight. Jenna Henry. Hi, sweetie. Esmeralda. Nice to see you guys. Rajiv Sharma, thank you so much. That is such a lovely message. Thank you, babe. Luminous Marina's in the house. Hi, sweetie. Brave Pink Hero Green. Annette Summersby. RT. Gabriela Ramondo. Sunshine. Wendy E. Hi, sweetie. Are you still floating on your high from singing your solo songs, Wendy? That just sounds so exciting. I'm so happy for you. Denisa, good to see you. Angel Leo girl. Hi, sweetie. And again, the character, you were first in the house tonight. Rachel Flory. Hi, sweetheart. Tina's just passing time. Awesome to see you too. All right, you guys, I'm going to bounce out of here and get to a Cancerian video. I think so too, Wendy. Thank you, guys. Justin, nice to see you. Right back at you. Namaste. Terry Fields. Awesome. Tan Jagger, good morning to you also, babe. All right, you guys, I'm going to do a Cancerian video next. Sweet dreams, if this is where we part ways. And at midnight-ish, I will also post the, no, it'll come out right at midnight. I will also post the today's topic over on Kate's Regretless Life. Bye for right now, guys. Thank you again.